Hi, Chris, aka Zomproof here, and I'm bringing you another episode of Second Chance Gaming. In this series, we'll be looking at games that had a troubled launch and see if they've received the necessary updates. The key pieces we are looking for is if the game is playable, have the devs kept their pre-release promises, and most importantly, is it fun? The Marvel Cinematic Universe is one of the hottest properties ever, but their track record for games has been less than stellar. While there were a handful of enjoyable 16-bit games back in the early days, the only team-up games available in recent years have been from a more LEGO variety. Otherwise, early in the MCU, we got individual movie tie-ins for Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America, which at best were fine, I guess, especially for movie tie ins. But in 2017, Marvel Entertainment released a teaser trailer to their YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for a game then titled The Avengers Project. Developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix, this would be the first time the main team would be together outside of mobile games since Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 2 back in 2009. At E3 2019, Square Enix shared a full trailer made of early parts of the game itself, as well as a rundown of the features. A release date of May 15, 2020 was announced as well at the event, but the game inevitably got pushed back to September 4th. Those who pre-ordered the game were given early access in a closed beta, and I'll be honest, I was one of those people. As a big fan of the MCU, I was really excited to get my hands on it, but in the end, I had canceled my pre-order because the game just wasn't fun. I, in fact, got bored really quickly. The initial roster of heroes announced for the game were Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, and the Hulk, with the introduction of Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Hawkeye was announced as a post-release hero, with Spider-Man announced soon after, though as a PlayStation exclusive, which obviously came with its fair share of controversy. Finally, just before release, Kate Bishop was announced as its first post-release hero to hit the game, originally a month later in September, but inevitably pushed back to December 2020. On release day, the game received middling reviews, with most crediting the campaign and combat, but the game as a service model dragging it down. You see, during the campaign, each area was designed around you playing as a very specific hero. Be it Kamala Khan running across rooftops, Hulk fighting through the Pacific Northwest, or Iron Man flying through the sky. There was no switching to your favorite Avenger and replaying levels. Instead, after you finish the campaign, you unlock Warzone that act as a multiplayer arena and introduce the game as a service mechanics. In these war zones, you can equip your Avengers with different outfits, character-specific emotes, and abilities, all of which were available in the marketplace for money. In fact, that's how they were able to have the post-release heroes available for free, since you would have to pay to unlock these new heroes' progress bars. On top of that, individual pieces were sold in the marketplace based upon outfits made famous by the movies or comics, and it quickly felt like that was where the focus of the game went. Post-release, between the bugs and the repetitive gameplay, people turned away, with the player base getting small enough that PC gamers were struggling to find others to match with in multiplayer. In their defense, Crystal Dynamics didn't just abandon the game. A lot of effort was put into patching, with one update including over 1,000 fixes. There were upticks in player counts with release of new heroes, most recently the Black Panther, across all versions of game, but it may be too little too late. There are rumors of more heroes being added to the game, with most of them focusing around She-Hulk and the Winter Soldier, though no official roadmap has been released at the time of recording. If I had to take a guess, future releases would probably tie into other MCU movies, as it would bring it more attention to the game itself and would add more items into the marketplace to sell. So, all that being said, let's answer those original questions. Is the game playable? Yes. There are some network issues that most always online games seem to have. When the game was first released, once you finished the campaign, you actually couldn't replay it. It took until March of 2021 for them to release a patch to allow you to play it again. I couldn't find a specific reason for that decision, though if I had to take a guess, it has to do with the fact that you could earn credits that would then be usable towards microtransactions originally. Question 2. Have the devs kept their pre release promises? For the most part, yes. It took a while for the first expansion hero, Kate Bishop, to be added, and then it took another 4 months for Hawkeye, and another 6 months after that for the Black Panther to show up, and Spider Man a couple months after even that. Of course, Spider Man is still a PlayStation exclusive and will probably remain that way. But there is still an important caveat to the developers' promises. On the 1 year anniversary of the game's release, an XP boost was added. This went against the promise that all microtransactions would be for cosmetic items only. And not too surprisingly, came when the game was added to Xbox Game Pass. It's not that this gives players an edge over others, as the game is purely cooperative, but it still felt like a betrayal to the fan base. Question 3. Is it fun? Not really. I mean, it does have its moments, especially during the more cinematic events, but all of that is in the campaign. The Warzone maps just feel like a grind. While the environments look different, they don't feel any different, nor do they play different. The enemies are just damage sponges, and I can't say I felt any particular difference when battling different groups. It just isn't that exciting to play. Now, I should say I still put a considerable amount of time in the game, mostly during the winter of 2020, with only 4 very grindy achievements away from 100%. So, would I recommend giving Marvel's Avengers a second chance? Not really. Maybe while it's on Xbox Game Pass or on a cheap sale. While its campaign does have its enjoyable moments, once you get into the war zone, it just feels like a grind. At the end of the day, the game is emphasizing microtransactions over the gameplay itself. And as a side note, I feel like developers are realistically always going to struggle making a game that plays well for all the Avengers, outside of focusing on a bigger version of what we get during the campaign. Their strengths are just really too different. A map built around Iron Man's flight capabilities would be incredibly frustrating to play as Captain America. Maybe developers should focus on the individual heroes rather than a big team up right off the bat. But what if you are looking to play as some of Earth's mightiest heroes? Well, obviously, PlayStation owners have the Spider Man series from Insomniac Games, but other than that, there aren't a whole ton of options. Marvel Ultimate Alliance came out back in 2006 and may be one of the best adaptations of the team out there, though, unless you're playing the recent release on the Nintendo Switch, they're definitely showing their age. Iron Man VR for PlayStation VR is a fairly enjoyable playthrough as the MCU version of the character, of course, sans Robert Downey Jr., and there are a couple of free short Spider Man VR games available, though they feel more like tech demos than actual games. Really, the best Marvel game out there right now is easily Guardians of the Galaxy from Eidos Interactive. It's an incredibly fun take on the space-based heroes. It plays somewhat like the campaign of the Avengers, where you just control Star-Lord and you get to lead the rest of the team around as you save the galaxy. I'm sure I'm probably missing some mobile games, but for the most part, these are going to be your best options. And that's it for Second Chance Gaming. Are you willing to give Marvel's Avengers a second chance? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what other games you would like to see get a second chance. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps others find the video and helps grow the channel. Once again, I've been Chris, aka Zomproof. Thanks for stopping by.